The purpose of this experiment is to work on the production of reagents in different concentration. Here we have our substances, the volumes and the concentration. We have the copper sulfate, his volume and its concentration, the acetic acid, and this is its chemical formula, the volume and the concentration, and the Kemi brilliant blue, which is a blue colorant, the volume and the concentration. First of all, we can find out the number of moles using this formula, which is the inverse formula of this one, and this is the formula for the concentration. So, for example, to find out the number of moles of the copper sulfate, we multiply the concentration by its volume. And then we do the same for the acetic acid, so concentration multiplied by the volume, and then the same for the Kemi brilliant blue, so the concentration once again multiplied by the volume, and these are the values. Then we can find out the molar mass of these substances just using the periodic table. So for example, for the copper sulfate, we find out the molar mass of the copper plus the molar mass of the sulfur plus the molar mass of the oxygen multiplied by 4, and then we have the molar mass of the copper sulfate. And then the same for the acetic acid and the Kemi brilliant blue. So for example, for the acetic acid, we find out the molar mass of the carbon multiplied by 2, because we have 2 carbons, the molar mass of the oxygen multiplied by 2, and the molar mass of the hydrogen multiplied by 4, because we have 2 oxygens and 4 hydrogens, and this is the number. And then the same for the Kemi brilliant blue, so the molar mass of the carbon multiplied by 45 plus the molar mass of the hydrogen multiplied by 44, the molar mass of the nitrogen multiplied by 3 plus the molar mass of the sodium plus the molar mass of the oxygen multiplied by 7 plus the molar mass of the sulfur multiplied by 2, and we have the number here. Then we can finally find out the mass of these substances using this formula, which is the inverse formula of the one for finding the number of moles. So for example, for finding out the mass of the copper sulfate, we multiplied its number of moles by its molar mass, and we have the number. And then the same for the acetic acid and for the Kemi brilliant blue. So for the acetic acid, we multiplied its number of moles by its molar mass, and the same for the Kemi brilliant blue, and here we have the numbers. And then we know that this amount of acetic acid is the 5%, so we use this equation, and then we isolate the x, multiplying by x both sides. So here the x goes away, so we have this, and then we isolate the x, and then we find out 3000 grams.